There used to be some bumps down there, and the kids used to ride their bikes down. They got a number of friends, similar minded, wanted to ride their bikes. And then one summer, the council decided to build some BMX tracks in Sheffield. And they built a number, Bolehills being one of them, which were little 4-lane tracks. Quite a large part of my life for a long time. My older lads, they've still got memories from it, still think dearly of it. Most of the people in my particular area were involved in it in some way. And my children have got friends from other cities from BMX racing. It started with, during the school holidays, they decided to put things on for kids to ride on the tracks. During one 6 weeks holiday, when the council were putting these events on and the chapel was running it, wanted to know if we wanted to start a club. But then they said, oh, who's going to start the club then? And then sort of everybody disappeared, and I thought, oh, that's how it started, really.
Didn't know about landings though, you were just a
pile of rubble to land on, weren't it?
it was just all bricks sticking out of it and all. So.
Middle of '83, sort of July '83, was when the first incarnation of the track appeared.
Yeah.
It was an exciting place to be. It was that next step in like discovering your locality for me. My name's Ben White. I'm from here, from Crooks in Sheffield.
Phil Charnley, aka Hoodoo, from Rotherham. All the harsh places in the world, Rotherham.
I first went to Bolehills as a very young child. As soon as I was old enough to cross the road on my own, from my mum's house to the park, Village Bank across the road. So the first time I went to where the track is now would have been '82. I would have been sort of 7, 8 years old. By '84, it was a proper club, trying to fall in line with other similar clubs around the region. And we got it on our doorstep now, and it was ours. You know, to be part of that was awesome.
It's BMX time!
BMX boys have a lot of fun. BMX boys have a lot of fun. BMX boys have a lot of fun.
BMX had just started to appear on TV. The E.T. film had come out, that was massive. Obviously we got it a year later than everybody else did. There was the Kellogg's race series which was on television. So BMX was everywhere, you know, on every street there were 10 kids that had a BMX on every street. And you met, you know, kids from your school that you'd never talked to before, and BMX brought you together. There were kids from the neighbouring schools that you would have, you know, had a bit of argy-bargy with that you did at 9, 10, 11 years old, that sort of childish stuff. It brought you together. Yeah, everybody were friends. My first season of racing was '84, and I was in the 9-year-olds.
Yes. And I'd have been 14 or whatever then, a bit older than him.
Yeah. So race days, the better ones were like your regionals and nationals. The country was split up into zones, probably 8 or 9 different regions. Bolehills fitted into East Midlands region, so we were like the northernmost club really, weren't we?
In that region, yeah.
Every time we had a regional at Bolehills, all the different clubs tried to sort of one-up each other about putting on the best show, having the best food, making the most noise, that sort of thing. So there was lots of hype on the PA, you know, you'd get people in costumes and banners and hooters, all that sort of razzmatazz going on. So at a regional, you'd probably get, what, 300 racers?
Between 3 and there were 500 at Ilkeston.
Right,
it looked like it was,
and that was a tiny little track.
Yeah, just for a regional race.
And at a national, there'd be anything between 1,000 and 1,200 riders. Same at British Championships.
I remember going to national, I think at Hounslow, so they ran that long on the Sunday that they had to get all the cars from the car park, put them trackside and switch the lights on because it was gone dark. And riding in all these shadows, man, with fucking highlights in your eyes and stuff.
That's why they used to have the British Championships at Derby Greyhound Stadium, because if it overran,
Stadium.
it was illuminated. So, not very well, but to some degree, wasn't it?
It stunk of dog shit.
It stunk of everything, that place. It smelled like a corpse, the whole place. It wasn't exclusive to us, like, entire families would go to watch one kid, wouldn't they? So, the aunties and uncles, nans and granddads, and they'd all just camp out in a deck chair and a blanket and stuff like that. They'd sit there all day, cheering everyone on. No idea who half of them were.
And do you want us both to answer, or do you want to ask each direct a question so that we don't?
I think what feels natural.
You mean I'm going to talk and you're just going to sit there?
I'll answer the other one.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'll correct you.
Yeah.
We used to run a club night on a Thursday where just maybe the local kids, and maybe from Dronfield or Chesterfield, the riders used to come from there. And we'd maybe get about 50 riders, I think. We used to call ourselves the Thursday Night Babysitting Club because we charged 50p to race, and parents just used to like drop the kid and the bike and go to the pub while they did the race, and then come back about 9 o'clock when it was all over to finish it. Yeah, Gary's the eldest. Gary's the one that we took up that first. Matt's first race was 2.5. He'd ride from High Green where we live when he was old enough. He'd ride to the Bolehills to ride it. Even when he wasn't BMXing, he'd go with his mate on his mountain bike. For like 10 years, it was the world. That's all we did.
For Gary, it was just everything.
It was the social part of it as well, of the club, because there were parents that were committed to it and taking the children all over the country every weekend. And the social aspect of it was brilliant. I think Gary finished racing probably when he was about 14, when football started taking over. And Matthew probably finished around the same time. So he'd be about 10 or 11 when he finished.
Sort of late 80s. The BMX boom unboomed itself.
It ceased because there wasn't enough interest, and you can't run a track and you can't run a club without parental interest.
And the first generation of kids, once they got 17 or whatever, their mums and dads didn't want to take them racing no more. They didn't want to go racing, so all the mums and dads went as well. Nobody's run the club. And it kind of died a little bit off at that point.
It died as quick as it started, really.
The kids had grown up with it and moved on to other things, I think, and there just wasn't the interest.
So by the end of '91, that was it. There was no more Sheffield BMX Club.
Stuff my camera. I got the camera out of my bag as I'm riding along. I put the strap on my teeth and put both hands back on so I could fucking sprint up to the light.
I think the whole BMX scene in the early 90s really slumped, like hit an all-time low of, I don't know, bike sales, I'm guessing. I don't know when it turned from proper racing into like a mess, but when I first went, it was the mess period. But it was quite cool. I went, oh, this is a really fun place to play, somewhere I've been looking for but didn't know existed. First time riding at Bolehills, it was in the late 90s. It was like scrappy jumps. You could just about see the outline of an old track, and just loads of small rhythm sections. We noticed the track was in a real bad state because a friend of a friend, because I was always doing filming and photography, somebody said, oh, I've got a drone, do you want to go up and shoot something at Bolehills early one morning? So I went up with this drone, first time I'd ever seen drone footage from Bolehills, and it was mint, it was great. morning, but also you could see how much grass had grown in. We're like, oh, this is a state. And that was the big motivation to actually scrape it back and make it look like a track. I mean, the space is there, it just needed some TLC. In the late 90s, it was very just cool kids digging their own jumps, like owning a trail spot, that I was far too young, naive and dumb, and still am, to get too involved, so I didn't do any digging back in the day. In 2000 it got built into a proper racetrack. We used to host regional races there. There was a little king of dirt in the middle of the track. It was mint. A lot of those pictures that you got, the black and white ones, are from those sort of sessions.
Dirt jumping was starting to be a thing, wasn't it? Again, coming across from America, like you said, trails were starting to become a thing. So we started modifying the track. We built little one-off concrete jumps here and there. Eventually we linked them all together, or some of them together, and we felt like we could do anything there because there was nobody saying we couldn't.
That's kind of where I slipped back in, because I came from, I was still into my racing.
Yeah.
Racing background, and because I'd been working in music for a while and promotions and stuff, I was kind of just running away from that, putting my phone down for a bit, getting back into bikes more than I've been, and so we put the race on, and 343 kids signed up that day. It was like a regional, and it was great. Off it went again.
The good thing about it is they always seem to have a jam vibe to it, and then when the racing finished, you go to a lot of races, everybody just wants to rush home because it's been a long day. Bolehills people just finished and sessioned. They just completely sessioned the track, so they did.
But then I went away to uni, I went away to live down south and came back in 2011 to Sheffield. Just saw what a manky state the track was in and went, we should probably do something about this. And then met up with Dave, started hanging out with him. He got the same idea, and I think it was 2014, the winter, we'd really gone, let's get it fixed up. And that was the big start. So I think the beauty of Bolehills, it's always been really good. Even when it was the 80s, even when it was jump tracks, even when it was rebuilt in the 2000s, it's always been a very solid space. So at the very least, we're thinking it's overgrown. If we just scrape it back and put a bit of surface on, it'll be brilliant. It'll be as good as it was, which was really good. And then mostly Dave gets, bites off more than he can chew and goes, we could just put an extra jump in, we could put an extra berm in, we could do this, we could do that. Right, phase 2, I'm like, I didn't even know we'd finished phase 1. And then it just, over year on year, appears how you see it now.
Me and Dave spent pretty much a full winter just putting back all the weeds and cutting back all the grass. That took probably 4 months of going up every week. It cost us about $2,500, I think, to do the whole thing, $3,000. It wasn't expensive, and we basically rebuilt the entire track in 2 weekends. It was mental. we had a skid steer. Jordan came with skid steer and dumped it. We had 50 people and 20 barrows, and they were just barrowing it faster than we're moving 40 ton a day. Did about 250 ton, I think, in 2 weekends. And that was the start of the graph, really. We took it over essentially and went, right, let's do it properly, and just really go in on it. So that's what we did.
So yeah, between 2015 and 2019, just did really just tweaks on back straight, making things a bit bigger, progressing to that sort of point where it became a progressive sort of jump sort of spot rather than a racetrack. So yeah, I guess just building on what they've done to revamp the place, making it better.
In 2020 to 21, we did loads of digging for that winter to bring it back up to scratch. And then 21, they were pretty mad on it. We had a massive couple of jams. We had the big Halloween jam. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we brought that back, and then it just Bolehills were back. the opening jam, it was just like, we had 250 riding bands like to give to people when they rode, and we ran out. So we must have had like over 250 riders, plus people like mums and dads and other people just sitting on field in sun. Like the first day of summer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was class.
It must have been 300 or 400 people total, just sitting and riding and enjoying the atmosphere. It was sick. It just means like that little bit more that we get from people and the donations that we get in just means we can do like more stuff. It wouldn't really exist without that. Like if it was just me and you digging, no one else, I don't think that would be it. It just wouldn't happen. With everyone pitching in a little bit, you can make something like proper special.
There was always this sort of community vibe that wasn't snobby. You just wanted people to be involved, just wanted people to be there. And I think that's it, like to this day, like that's the same approach, like just not taking itself too seriously, having fun on your bike, having fun with your mates, pushing yourself, and just, being outdoors in what is actually like, I think, just a really little beautiful spot. I mean, kind of gave itself its own momentum purely from the volunteer base. Hoodoo in that generation, and then me in like the mid-school generation, and then Dave and RB and you guys in like the new generation. It's like it's like a relay race, just kind of changing hands, and it just perpetually will continue, I think.
It feels more community than anywhere else I've been, because it's not like a private mountain bike track or anything that you just want to keep with your absolute tiny core of mates, and it's not like a skate park that's owned there to make money, and it's great, but it's not necessarily got the scene that you'd want. And Bolehills is the best of both of those bits. It's free, people have actually got a hand in building it themselves, so they feel some sort of ownership about the place, look after it, and it's somewhere that you can hang out with all your mates.
And I think that's it. I think that's what Bolehills is. It's like, I know it's like cliched and that, but it has a bit of a magic to it. I don't know what it is. It's hard to kind of nail down, but it certainly has it. And I'm very, very grateful to have been a part of it. That was a period of my life that, like every period of our life, can just sort of disappear into the ether. And then, but it hasn't. Like they were like amazing connections with amazing people that will probably never taper off.
I think it's comforting to me to be there, that it's still there and it's still magic. Yeah, that it's still doing what it did for us. Yeah, still delivering the good times to other people. And it's great to see. You don't have to be riding to be involved in the good times. So it's magical. Ashes, mate.
It's a small, plot in the landscape, really, isn't it? But like I say, the great stuff to come from it. I can't say over and over. I know I'm saying it over and over, but the friendships, like these guys, there's various people that's got, that won nationals. Abby Taylor was world champion. She was on the Olympic team. All sorts of things. Starting at 6-year-old at Bolehills in early 2000. I think that's it's quite adds to the legacy to it all. To me, it was everything this summer going up there, and both me and my son riding with my BMX a little bit. That's everything. You know what I mean? To be able to have that connection with your child, that to be able to have that same interest in one thing or another, that to me is massive. And Bolehills has made that happen.
What does Bolehills BMX track mean to you?
I don't know. It means success for the children, I think. When the kids turned up, when the riders turn up and they get their bikes out and they get their outfits, and you just look round and they're all happy and they're all safe, they're all together with their mates, they've all got a common interest. What more do you want for your kids?
it's the people that make this place rather than the track itself. So it's the people that help glue it all together.